On Wednesday, March the 20th, the Universal Peace Federation co-sponsored a conference at the United Nations Vienna International Center on the theme Perspectives for Sustainable Peace and Development in the Horn of Africa. Guest speakers included ambassadors, former government ministers, UN permanent missions and ministry representatives. One of the foundations for this conference is the recent reconciliation between Eritrea and Ethiopia after many years of war. The Horn of Africa enjoys an excellent strategic location. It refers to 4 countries: Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, and Djibouti. But in its wider political and economic context, the term also includes Sudan and South Sudan. The Horn of Africa is a source as well as an area of transit and of destination of mixed migratory flows and a center of migratory routes towards various destinations. The conference addressed the theme directly with expert presentations and serious discussion.
Why is this conference so important? I think it is important because the awareness in Europe and also in Austria is not adequate to the importance of the regions, not adequate to the importance of the matters, the issues, and the developments. And you can see it, I mean, if you just open any paper. And there also was this underlining, Europas lähmende Angst vor Afrika. Europe's lambing fear for Africa. And what the article says is that almost everything in Europe at the moment is concentrated just on the migration issue.
This shows that at the end, we are all one big family. Since establishing diplomatic relations with our neighbor Ethiopia, both our countries have profited from an excellent political and economic relationship.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot forget to begin my statement on this very important occasion. I must not forget mentioning the accelerating positive developments in the Horn of Africa, which is whose importance is derived from its close connection with the Red Sea and is one of the most important strategic regions in the geopolitics of the world. Attractions, ladies and gentlemen, after the peace agreement between Eritrea and Ethiopia was signed on July 8, 2018, in the Eritrean capital Asmara, we need not to highlight its effect and its positive reflection on the region. The current peace efforts over the past 10 months in the Horn of Africa lay the foundation for a new stage of relations between the regional states, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, and Djibouti. Turn a new page beyond the disputes of the past and to work effectively with consensus and in light of full respect for national sovereignty and territorial integrity, abiding by the principle of non-intervention in the internal affairs of states. All of these indications were a result of the official opening of the land border between Ethiopia and Eritrea after having been closed for 2 decades.
And then there came this news about the opening between arch enemies, Ethiopia and Eritrea, ending a 20-year-old war. And opening the frontiers, opening the regions, signing a friendship treaty. And this development is not only a rapprochement between these 2 countries, it also strongly involved Djibouti and Somalia. And there is a hope that this will also be to the benefit of the Greater Horn, which includes then Sudan, maybe South Sudan also one day, and also Kenya and Uganda as stronger partners. So
towards the future, we need to put in place a plan and a new vision for the region. We, the leaders in this sub-region, the Horn of Africa, need to place the highest priority on peace, security, And this was put effectively into action through the adoption in 2016 of the Silence of Guns plan, a step which complements a comprehensive Sustainable Development Agenda 2063 of the African continent. Equally, we further support economic growth and development through strengthening developmental.
That why in Africa we still have an economic barrier.
In 1960, there were 1,700 Austrian refugees, Jewish refugees, who were received by the government of Ethiopia.
So, could we please understand better what's the way forward for Eritrea now that there is peace? Thank you very much.
First of all, I really want to congratulate the people of Ethiopia and Eritrea for this historical peace agreement.
Through our media campaigns and over more than a quarter century, we have come to know each other, as Africans, to know Europe, European technology, the United Nations, UN abilities, as well as Africa and its needs.
When we talk about sustainable peace and development, it can be realized on the foundation of interdependence, mutual prosperity, but also it needs to be based on universal principles. If we want to be sustainable development, sustainable peace, we believe strongly it has to be based on universal principles and spiritual values.
The participants of the conference, Perspectives for Sustainable Peace and Development in the Horn of Africa, which took place on March the 20th, 2019, in the Vienna International Center, United Nations, want to express their gratitude for the courage and vision that the political leaders of the Horn of Africa nations are showing in order to make a new start toward peace and mutual prosperity.
Certainly this conference does have quite some importance because not only the African continent, but especially the Horn of Africa becomes more and more important for international peace and security, and is one of the biggest topics also for development. Due to the geostrategic situation bordering the Red Sea, bordering the Indian Ocean, bordering the way from the Indian Ocean to Europe, or between East Asia and Europe. This has quite some significance, but also its closeness to the energy in the Middle East. And insofar, the whole region comes more and more into the center of attention of world thoughts.
I'm so glad I came here, especially to attend this event, because this is a historical moment for Africa, and especially for the Horn of Africa, to create such a peace agreement between Somalia, Eritrea, and Ethiopia. Somalia has not been mentioned much here, but definitely the central theme is this peace treaty, which is being done between Ethiopia and Eritrea.
We experienced this incredible incidents that suddenly we had two people in this continent who decided to shake hands and to finish a war which lasted 20 years. And we could really see, when we now discuss about the perspectives, that's only good things I had, and we realize as Europeans that Africa is one of the continents of the future.
حاب غوراتنت كلهم مزاوتي اشتهواتي قدي في يومتي خورا مصاتي عبيت سرعات حاب غوراتنت كلهم مزاوتي اشتهواتي قدي في يومتي خورا مصاتي لك ساعة حدي ونتات كجمة كل حرب ناوي بومباك هو راور انت الفاف من دحريت كتوه بينات مسرحي لهم مساعات هوا اركب سحاب رقرق بقويا حوخوني بتنشن